Barrack storm, Jin reprimanded by the Korean military for visiting Jungkook in the hospital. The K-pop world has once again been shaken by shocking news. This time, the spotlight is on two BTS members, Kim Seokjin, Jin, and Jungkook, who are currently serving their mandatory military service. This unexpected incident involves Jungkook's health condition and Jin's spontaneous action, which resulted in a reprimand from the South Korean military. What really happened behind this event? According to exclusive reports from various sources, Jungkook suffered from severe food poisoning in the military barracks. After completing his duties, he suddenly felt nauseous, dizzy, and weak, leading to an emergency transfer to a military hospital for immediate treatment. News of his condition quickly spread, reaching Jin, who was stationed at a different base. On the other hand, Army continues to rally support for Jin. Hashtags like #JusticeForJin and #StayStrongJungkook have been trending across multiple social media platforms, with millions of tweets flooding the internet. Some fans have even sent open letters to South Korea's Ministry of Defense, urging them to consider the case more humanely. Jin's reaction, known for his close bond with Jungkook, was inevitable. Some reports state that he immediately requested permission to visit his friend, but his request was denied on the grounds that the situation did not meet the criteria for an emergency. However, instead of giving up, Jin allegedly found another way to see Jungkook. An anonymous source reported that upon arriving at the hospital, Jin appeared highly emotional upon seeing Jungkook still lying weak in bed. The moment became even more touching when Jungkook, despite being unwell, greeted his friend with a faint smile. However, the emotional visit was short-lived. Military officials quickly discovered Jin's presence at the hospital and promptly escorted him back to his base for interrogation. The military's decision to reprimand Jin sparked a wave of protests from fans. Armies worldwide argued that Jin's actions were not a violation of discipline, but rather a true testament to friendship and genuine care. Many even compared this case to other incidents involving public figures who faced lesser consequences. This situation has even triggered a massive movement on social media. An online petition demanding justice for Jin gathered tens of thousands of signatures within hours. Fan pressure continues to rise, urging the military to reconsider its decision. On the other hand, Jungkook reportedly felt guilty after learning about the consequences Jin had to face. In an emotional state, he was said to have pleaded for the reprimand against his friend to be lifted. Meanwhile, other BTS members voiced their opinions, emphasizing the importance of military discipline while suggesting that more flexibility should be allowed in certain cases. As of now, the South Korean military has not released an official statement regarding a possible leniency for Jin. However, with growing public pressure, many hope the issue will be resolved fairly. The big question remains, did Jin truly deserve the reprimand? Or was this just a misunderstanding that should have been handled with more discretion? As speculation continues to spread, one thing is certain, the world's attention is now focused on the final decision to be made by the South Korean military. Will they listen to the fans? Or will strict regulations remain the top priority? Let's wait for further developments. With pressure from fans and the media mounting, various speculations have emerged regarding how the South Korean military will handle this case. Military law experts argue that while discipline is crucial in the military environment, there is room to consider humanitarian factors in certain cases, especially those involving a soldier's health condition. Several former South Korean military personnel have also shared their views, stating that strict military regulations indeed prohibit personnel from leaving their duties without explicit permission. However, they acknowledge that in some cases, superiors have the authority to grant special permission based on specific circumstances. If it is true that Jin did not receive permission but still attempted to visit Jungkook, then disciplinary action might be considered justified from a military perspective. However, if this case is dismissed without taking emotional factors and emergency conditions into account, the decision could spark widespread public dissatisfaction. Public reaction and Jin's future in the military. As this news continues to spread, international media have started to highlight how the South Korean military is handling the incident involving Jin and Jungkook. Many military analysts and K-pop culture experts believe that this case could set an important precedent for how military regulations apply to celebrities serving their mandatory service. Many fans and netizens are questioning whether Jin is being treated more strictly compared to regular soldiers. some former South Korean soldiers have revealed that in previous cases, soldiers who violated rules for humanitarian reasons often received only mild warnings or verbal reprimands rather than severe punishments. However, on the other hand, some within the military community insist that rules must be enforced fairly without exceptions, regardless of one's status as a celebrity or public figure. They emphasize that if Jin is given special treatment, it could create resentment among other soldiers and weaken overall military discipline. Will Jin face harsher punishment? Although Jin has only received a reprimand so far, speculation has arisen regarding the possibility of further punishment if he is deemed to have committed a serious disciplinary violation. Some military sources mention that in more severe cases, a soldier could face 1. Leave restrictions. Jin could lose his right to rest days or leave during his service period. 2. Reassignment. If his violation is considered serious, he could be transferred to a stricter location or assigned more difficult tasks. 3. Disciplinary record. If officially recorded, it could impact his reputation after completing military service. However, if public pressure continues to rise, it is possible that any punishment imposed will not be too severe. Support from BTS members. Amid this controversy, the other BTS members currently serving in the military are reportedly showing their support for Jin. Some reports suggest that they have sent personal messages to encourage him. Meanwhile, Suga, who is currently serving as a public service worker due to health reasons, is said to be closely observing the situation and may express his thoughts in the future. Fans also recall that before enlisting, BTS emphasized the importance of friendship and supporting one another through challenges. Many believe that this incident further strengthens their bond, proving that their friendship remains solid even in the strict military environment. What happens next? The public is still waiting to see if the South Korean military will respond to the growing pressure from army and the media. Possible developments in the coming days include 1. An official statement from the military. They could clarify whether Jin truly violated the rules or if he only received a minor warning. 2. A public apology from Jin. If the case escalates, Jin might issue a personal statement to defuse the situation. 3. New policies for celebrity soldiers. This incident could spark discussions about the need for more flexible rules for celebrities serving in the military, especially in humanitarian situations. One thing is certain, the world's attention remains focused on Jungkook and how the South Korean military's decision will impact their image in the future. Will the military show leniency and consider the emotional factors? Or will they strictly uphold the rules? Global pressure and reactions from the K-pop industry. As discussions about this incident continue to grow, international media and the South Korean entertainment industry have started to highlight how the military is handling Jin's case. Many industry observers believe that the military's approach could impact South Korea's global image, especially since BTS is one of the country's most prominent international symbols. Some Western media outlets, including entertainment news sites and music journalists, have begun comparing this incident to similar cases involving other public figures. Many argue that Jin's actions were merely an act of compassion and should not be considered a serious disciplinary violation. Additionally, several senior figures in the K-pop industry have started voicing their opinions. Some former idols who previously served in the military have stated that while rules must be followed, there are times when policies should take individual circumstances into account. On the other hand, some Korean netizens believe that Jin, as a public figure, should set a good example by following military regulations without exceptions. However, international fans insist that the punishment imposed on Jin is disproportionate to his act of friendship. How is Jungkook responding to this situation? Jungkook, who is still recovering from food poisoning, is reportedly feeling extremely guilty about the consequences Jin has had to face. Some sources claim that he has personally expressed his gratitude to Jin and hopes that the issue will not escalate further. According to reports from close sources, Jungkook even asked his fellow soldiers not to blame Jin and emphasized that his visit was a deeply appreciated moral support. Conclusion: will justice be served? This case has captured the attention of not only army but also various groups worldwide. The South Korean military's decision regarding Jin will be a crucial moment that could influence future military service policies for celebrities. While fans continue to show their support in various ways, the growing public pressure might push the military to consider a more humane approach. However, will they choose leniency, or will they strictly adhere to military regulations? Only time will tell. One thing is certain, this incident once again proves that BTS is not just an ordinary music group. They are global icons who continue to attract worldwide attention, even while fulfilling their duties as South Korean citizens. Let's wait and see how this story unfolds, and may the final decision bring justice to all involved. Purple Heart.
I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.